unbelievable. He is getting worse, not better.
Ask your questions. Joe. All
go
I'm
to break.
doing is
Go to
giving
break,
you the
everybody.
facts.
Go to break.
You know
what? I think it's been fascinating and frightening and really sad for our country. I mean,
a lot of people that just aren't smart, that are the extremists on the far left or the far right, saying, oh, they're for Donald Trump. No, we're not. We're actually for accuracy here. I've seen focus groups over the past couple of days of Trump voters who still would support him, who say things like, I like Donald Trump because of where he stands. I can't even say it with a straight face, on the issues. Now you tell me, what the does that mean? What does he, what issues?
I want to get our hands around a very difficult situation.
All right, Donald.
Hey, Joe, one other thing.
Donald. You got to let us ask questions. You can't just talk. No, you got to let us actually ask questions. You're just talking. All Muslims. Donald. You're not going to keep talking. We will go to break if you keep talking. We're going to ask you questions.
All right,
go to break. Go to break, everybody. Go to break. Go to break. Go to break right now. We'll be right back with more Morning Joe.
Bill Maher has never held back, but in 2025, with Donald Trump back in the White House, he's taking aim not just at Republicans, but at liberal media figures like Joe Scarborough. In a viral moment that shook up political media, Maher accused Scarborough of fueling panic, paranoia, and even pushing viewers away with his relentless, doom-filled coverage of Trump's rise.
He embraced Russia.
I know, but he's gone, Joe.
No,
why are we still talking about him?
Because 75 million people, and I've got to say, all of my people, my tribe, they voted for him. And Frank Bruni says Democrats never got it. That while we were looking at all of the crazy things Donald Trump was saying on the campaign trail, all of the frightening things Donald Trump was saying on the campaign trail, they were looking at their wallet. They were looking what groceries cost, what gas costs, what rent costs, and none of that really penetrated their conscience when they went to vote.
I mean, I'm just talking about David Duke and the Ku Klux Klan here, but...
I don't know, honestly, I don't know David Duke. I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
That's disqualifying right there. It's breathtaking. That is disqualifying right there. To say you don't know about the Ku Klux Klan.
Scarborough, a longtime critic of Trump and co-host of MSNBC's Morning Joe, had spent the past year warning that a second Trump presidency would bring authoritarianism, constitutional collapse, and mass civil unrest. But with Trump now officially president again, and the apocalypse not immediately upon us, Maher's asking a bold question: was the panic helping or hurting?
There's no doubt.
There's no misinformation.
There's some disinformation from the left, but comparing it to what Donald Trump spews out every day, every week, comparing it to what Elon Musk is spewing out, unfortunately, on X, you sound like Brett Stevens right now, with all due respect. It's a joke. That's a real time.
And you sound like him, who looks like Rachel Maddow.
You understand what I'm saying?
I've never argued with that. I've never argued of a false equivalency. I just said there is misinformation from both sides. No, I lived through COVID. Don't tell me there wasn't misinformation.
But there's a difference between...
I lived through stupid policies based on bad information and stifled information.
But intent matters.
That's what Zuckerberg said. He said they were forcing us not to put out...
The moment struck a nerve. Clips of Maher calling out Scarborough have racked up millions of views across social platforms. And in a media environment where everyone claims to be saving democracy, Maher's jab has sparked a deeper debate. Has political media lost the plot?
This isn't buying him a single vote. I mean, is he really so stupid that he thinks Southerners aren't offended by the Ku Klux Klan and David Duke? Is he really so ignorant of Southern voters that he thinks this is the way to their heart? To go neutral? To play Switzerland? When you're talking about the Klan?
Tell me about this, because then when you're an independent now.
Yeah.
So what does that say? That, to me, it says that you think the Republican Party is unsavable.
Unsavable. Oh, no doubt about it.
Because otherwise you would want to stay on, right, and reform it, but you think it
can't be saved.
It cannot be saved.
Back in 2016, Scarborough was accused of giving Trump too much oxygen on Morning Joe. But following the Capitol riot in 2021, his tone shifted radically. By 2023 and into the 2024 campaign, Scarborough became one of Trump's loudest media critics, calling him a wannabe dictator, a threat to the Constitution, and the end of American democracy. That context set the stage for his October 2024 appearance on Real Time with Bill Maher. Just weeks before the election, Scarborough doubled down on his warnings, comparing Trump to fascist leaders and insisting that if he won, democracy might not survive. The election happened, Trump won. And while his administration is already pushing sweeping executive actions, the dramatic imagery Scarborough invoked hasn't yet come to pass. Enter Maher. With his usual mix of sarcasm and sharp wit, Maher grilled Scarborough live on air, not for his opposition to Trump, but for the tone of that opposition. Maher argued that constant panic from liberal media isn't just ineffective, it's counterproductive.
I think a challenge here to win over the undecided voters is to convince them that she's not part of what they suspect she might be, sort of a stealth version of the worst excesses of the left. I said there's a coalition of Trump voters, people who really like him, they certainly are those, and then there's people who don't necessarily like him that much, but they still think he's less crazy than stuff that strikes them as aggressively anti-common sense. That takes place on the left. So that's why they keep running that ad about sex changes in prison. You know, like, could you...
And every football game.
Could you get... Every football game. Could you get more third-rail words into one sentence?
The heart of this disagreement isn't about whether Trump is dangerous. Both men agree on that. The issue is how media personalities like Scarborough talk about it. Is it better to raise the alarm daily with end-of-the-world rhetoric? Or should the media strive for cooler, reasoned messaging that doesn't alienate swing voters and independents? Maher's concern is one many viewers share, even those who dislike Trump: alarm fatigue. If you tell people the sky is falling every day for 8 years, what happens when they stop believing you? Or worse, when the next real emergency hits and nobody listens? The media has to walk a tightrope. Underreact and you're complicit. Overreact and you become background noise. And in 2025, with Trump back in office and reshaping institutions once again, that challenge is more urgent than ever.
Change. So you consider yourself a liberal, right?
I consider myself an old school liberal. You have to make that distinction now, because, you know, the word woke, which started out as a good thing, being alert to injustice, and a lot of people get triggered by the word because when they hear it, they think of it the old meaning, which was good. You know, stay woke. But I'm sorry, language is a living, breathing entity. Words change and they migrate and they take on a different meaning. And woke now has to answer for, or for people have just used the word to ascribe a number of extreme things on the left.
Maher has been criticizing progressive overreaction for years, from COVID discourse to cancel culture, and now Trump panic. He sees Scarborough as the poster child of MSNBC's liberal hysteria machine, always in crisis mode, never dialing it back. In Maher's view, this kind of media not only fails to persuade voters in the middle, but may actually strengthen Trump's support by confirming claims of media bias. Scarborough, on the other hand, is unapologetic. Since Trump's return to office, he's pointed to executive orders targeting the press, sweeping changes at the DOJ, and harsh immigration crackdowns as signs that he was right all along. To him, the media has a duty to sound the alarm, even if it's uncomfortable. He recently said, "Bill may be tired of hearing it, but I'm tired of living it." Public reaction to their clash has been deeply divided. On Reddit and X, some praised Maher as a refreshing voice of realism, while others accused him of downplaying the threat. Meanwhile, Scarborough's defenders pointed to real moves by the Trump administration to argue that the MSNBC host had been vindicated. The viral moment came when Maher said bluntly, "You scream fascism so often, people stop hearing you. You're not waking them up, you're just exhausting them."
Understand, you benefited from racism if you're white. There's no doubt about it. And that has to be addressed. It can't be ignored. But also, I didn't personally do it. There's a middle ground there. It's very difficult.
Two things can be true at one time.
And they are both true at one time. I'm not personally responsible, but did I benefit? Yes, I'm sure I did. People our age definitely did. And so, if we can all agree on things like that, we could then come up with sensible...
Scarborough's response was fiery. He defended his tone, pointing to specific Trump statements and policies enacted in the first 100 days of his second term. He said that ignoring the language of political strongmen is what enables them. Maher pushed back, arguing that we've got to stop assuming Americans are dumb, that people understand the stakes, but they don't want to be shouted at daily. The audience and the internet lit up. Media personalities chimed in. Megyn Kelly applauded Maher for saying what everyone in cable news is too scared to admit. Meanwhile, The Atlantic ran a piece titled "Bill Maher is Wrong. Joe Scarborough is sounding the alarm for a reason." The split reflects a deeper fracture in media and viewer psychology between those who believe in warning and those who believe in winning hearts and minds. The Maher versus Scarborough debate captures something bigger than two pundits butting heads. It's a reflection of how the media, especially progressive-leaning outlets, is struggling to recalibrate now that Trump is back in power. Do they double down on opposition, or do they find a new way to reach people who may be tuning out? Maher's core message is that tone matters. If the media wants to be taken seriously, it can't always be screaming. Scarborough's response is that this is the time to scream, because the stakes are too high. Both men make fair points, but their divide shows just how fractured even anti-Trump voices have become. In the end, the big question isn't who's right, it's what works. Does panic galvanize the public, or does it numb them? As Trump begins his second term, the way media covers him will shape not just perceptions, but possibly the future of American democracy itself. What do you think? Is Maher right to say liberal media is going overboard with Trump panic? Or is Scarborough doing what journalists are supposed to do in the face of authoritarianism? Let us know in the comments. Do you feel informed by political coverage, or just overwhelmed? And if you want more breakdowns like this, subscribe to the channel, like the video, and turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. Stay informed, stay skeptical, and keep asking the tough questions, no matter who's in power.